Today we gather to address one of the most pressing global challenges of our era, sustainable development and global warming, and the commitment of the states to combat these critical issues. Global warming, driven by the accumulation of greenhouse gases, poses a threat to our planet. It manifests through rising temperatures, melting ice caps, extreme weather events, and ecological disruptions. The urgency of this situation cannot be overstated. Our discussion today will delve into the imperative of translating these global commitments into concrete actions at local and national levels. Sustainable development encompassing environmental, economic, and social dimensions must guide our efforts. We must not only reduce emissions, but also ensure inclusivity and equity in our development strategies. As we explore the challenges and opportunities on this path, we will discover the policies, innovations, and collaborations required to transform our commitments into tangible results. However, together we can strive for a future where humanity coexists harmoniously with the environment, securing a prosperous and equitable world for future generations. The crisis of global warming, driven by human inventions, activities, and the relentless release of greenhouse gases into our atmosphere, is undeniably one of the greatest challenges of our time. It threatens ecosystems, endangered species, disrupts weather patterns, and intensifies extreme weather events. It is a crisis that, if left unaddressed, will shape the destiny of generations to come. Yet, despite the urgency in this issue and the wealth of scientific evidence supporting it, the commitment of states to tackle global warming has been far from seamless. This presentation will illuminate the complex web of challenges and intricacies that underlie this struggle. We will explore the economic interests, political divisions, and the delicate balance between short-term priorities and long-term sustainability. Addressing global warming has been a challenge for states due to a combination of complex factors. Economic interests. Fossil fuel industries and other sectors tied to high carbon emissions often wield considerable economic and political influence. Committing to address global warming can mean disrupting these industries, potentially leading to job losses and economic upheaval. This creates resistance to change among powerful interest groups. Short-term versus long-term trade-off. Climate change mitigation often involves short-term costs versus long-term benefits. Politicians tend to prioritize immediate concerns to secure votes and support. The long-term nature of climate change can make it difficult for leaders to invest in solutions that may not yield immediate political rewards. Political factors. Political leaders are sensitive to public opinion and their views of their constituents. Climate change can be a diverse issue, with segments of the population denying its existence or downplaying its significance. Leaders may be hesitant to take bold action if they fear backlash from voters. International coordination. Climate change is a global problem that requires international cooperation. Negotiating and reaching agreement among countries with diverse interests can be difficult. Some nations may hesitate to commit to climate change if they perceive others as not doing their fair share. Technological challenges. Transitioning to a low-carbon economy requires significant technological advancements and infrastructure changes. These transitions can be costly and technically challenging, making it harder for states to commit to an ambitious climate goal. Uncertainty. While the scientific consensus on climate change is strong, there is still uncertainty about specific impacts and the exact measures needed to address them. Some policymakers may use this uncertainty as a reason to delay action. Equity concerns. Climate change disproportionately affects vulnerable communities and developing nations that have contributed less to greenhouse gas emissions. Addressing these equity issues can complicate negotiations and commitments. Lobbying and special interests. Powerful interest groups, including fossil fuel companies, often engage in extensive lobbying efforts to influence policy decisions. They may actively oppose policies relating to climate as it may threaten their profits. Geopolitical complexities. Geopolitical rivalries and competing national interests can impede international climate agreements. Negotiations can become entangled with broader political disputes. Public awareness and education. The level of public awareness and understanding of climate change varies widely. Governments may hesitate to take action without strong public support, and public opinion can be influenced by media coverage and educational efforts. Our journey through the challenges states face in committing to address global warming has shed light on the intricate web of obstacles, politics, and complexities that surround this critical issue. As we contemplate the road ahead, it is important to remember that while the challenges are substantial, so are too the opportunities for positive change. International cooperation, informed public disclosure, and equity in the global response are key ingredients to overcoming these hurdles. The Paris Agreement, signed by most nations, stands as an emblem of our shared commitment to address this crisis. It is a testament to the power of diplomacy and collective will. Moreover, at the heart of this issue is the undeniable truth that addressing global warming is not only a moral obligation, but also an opportunity. It is an opportunity to invest in clean energy, create sustainable jobs, improve public health, and safeguard our ecosystems. It is an opportunity to forge a future that is equitable, resilient, and prosperous for all. However, it is not all bleak. The question is whether the global community is prepared to fight environmental degradation and climate change. In recent years, we have witnessed glimmers of hope, moments of collaboration, and commitments to change. As we navigate through the rest of this presentation, we will also explore potential solutions and pathways forward. Together, we shall endeavour to shed light on the intricacies of global warming challenge, as well as a vital role each of us plays in securing a sustainable and resilient future for our planet. The global community has made significant progress in recognising and addressing environmental degradation and climate change, but there are still substantial challenges and concerns. In recent years, a remarkable shift has occurred, an awakening of global consciousness. Movements like Friday for Future and Extinction Rebellion have sounded the alarm bell, compelling us to take notice. The heightened awareness has ignited a wave of pressure on governments, businesses, and communities to address environmental challenges. International agreements. A milestone on this journey is the Paris Agreement, forged in 2015. Under this accord, the most nations pledged to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, committing to limit global warming. However, translating these pledges into concrete action and achieving targets remain a complex challenge, with progress varying widely. Many nations have taken decisive steps through policies and legislation. These encompass emission reduction targets, incentive for renewable energy options, and stringent environmental regulations, yet the effectiveness of these measures fluctuates from region to region. Technological advancements. Our journey has seen a remarkable stride in technology. Advances in renewable energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable agriculture provide powerful tools to combat environmental degradation and reduce carbon emissions. Importantly, the declining cost of renewable energy makes sustainable practices more accessible. Private sector engagement. The corporate world recognises the urgency of sustainability. Initiatives like the Science Based Targets Initiative encourages businesses to set ambitious emissions reduction goals. This engagement holds immense promise for accelerating positive change. Equity and justice. Equity and justice lie at the heart of our journey. Developing nations, often the least responsible for emissions, frequently bear the heaviest burden of climate impacts. Bridging these disparities is essential for global solidarity and collective progress. As we proceed, we encounter formidable changes. Reliance on fossil fuels, deforestation, and the entanglement of political and economic interests persist. The consequences of climate change are increasingly evident, from extreme weather events to rising sea levels. Many countries are not on track to meet their emission reduction targets under the Paris Agreement. The commitment made by nations thus far are insufficient to limit global warming to the agreed upon targets, which poses a serious threat to the planet. Lack of implementation. While there is international agreements on climate goals, translating these commitments into concrete actions at the national level can be slow and challenging. Political and economic interests again hinder this progress. Economic interests. Some industries, particularly those tied to fossil fuels and other high emission activities, continue to lobby against climate policies, making it difficult for governments to take the necessary steps. Climate injustice. Vulnerable communities, often in developing countries, are disproportionately affected by climate change despite contributing less to greenhouse gas emissions. Addressing climate injustice and providing support to these communities is a pressing issue. Political changes. Geopolitical tensions and global power dynamics can complicate international cooperation on climate issues. Issues such as trade disputes and resource conflicts can interfere with climate action. Technological barriers. While renewable energy is growing, the transition away from fossil fuels still faces technological and infrastructure challenges, as well as the need for large-scale investments. Global warming is a threat that respects no borders, and its consequences are felt by all. It is a shared responsibility that requires action and a common vision for a sustainable future. As we've seen, states face economic and pressures, political divisions, and short-term priorities, but these should not deter us from our goal. Our voyage reveals a complex landscape. Progress has been made, yet substantial challenges endure. We must summon international cooperation, political will, and unwavering commitment to safeguard our planet. Together we must continue the collective effort to protect our environment and secure a sustainable future for all, transcending borders and generations. In conclusion, while there has been progress in recognising and addressing environmental degradation and climate change, significant work remains to be done. The global community is making efforts, but there is an urgent need for increased ambition, stronger policy implementation, and enhanced international cooperation to effectively combat these critical challenges. Our journey is far from over. Thank you.